Hey,
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hola, aloha beaches. Thanks for
Thought
coming.
that would set the tone.
Yeah, well, I am actually. Look, Jen and I are both outside. I'm outside, but thank you for being here, Jim. I do appreciate it, and I understand that you guys have some stuff going on over at Constellation. Is it which is the charity? What's it called again?
It's called the V Foundation for Cancer Research.
Okay, so you guys are still doing with Mr. V, and is his brother still over there, and or what's going on with the V Foundation since I've left you guys?
Yeah, the V Foundation. I mean, we started the relationship.
And by the way, let me introduce you. I'm sorry. This is Jim Ryan of Constellation Brands, and Jim has been a friend of ours for 20 plus years. Been in the business forever. Jim, you and I are kind of the last of the Mohicans of the old school beer guys. You know what I mean?
I
I
think
mean,
you're right.
there's not much of there's not many of us left. I don't know what to think of that. Either we're survivors or we're just under the radar. I don't know which one,
I
but
was thinking, Harry, I was thinking this morning, I remember going to the very first summit at the Jefferson Hotel in Richmond, Virginia.
wow, that was the very first summit. So you wow,
I
and
remember
we had like 80 people. It was 100 degrees in the room.
it.
You know what, Jim? Thanks for sticking with us. You know what I, you know what I mean? Thanks for sticking with us.
It's been a ride.
It has. I mean, I think y'all were still called Barton back then. Probably. I don't remember.
Yeah, if we were 20 years ago, was that 18 or 19 years ago? Yeah, it was Barton Beers.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So all right. So let's get back to you guys. You guys work with the V Foundation.
Yes, yes. Harry, we started with them in 2010 with the V Foundation. And at that time, Jim Valvano's brother was the CEO, Nick Valvano. And he's still on the board, but he has transitioned out. Then Susan Braun came in as CEO, and now Shane Jacobson is CEO. So I have worked with all three of them.
Nice. And so how do you guys raise money exactly? Do distributors help? Do retailers help? Because you guys have raised like 20 million, right?
Right. Over the course of Jen, over the course of the program, or the partnership, I should say, we've generated over $20 million in support. So there's a combination. The Gold Network has been very supportive since day one. So, and that's one of the reasons why we picked this charity for our cause marketing program. We could get the Gold Network involved. We could get our retailers involved. So we have a retail component. We have our own employees can contribute. Business partners do certain events, golf outings. We focused it. It's always been focused because when we started this, we were looking to do something in both the cause marketing platform and something to fill the month of March from retail programming. And what's better than March Madness?
Right.
So that's kind of how we tied it together with that program. We do raise money throughout the year. There's other programs we're involved with, from the Dick Vitale Gala to the wine celebration to the Jimmy Fee Classic at Madison Square Garden. So it's evolved and it grows. There's more activity every year. So obviously cancer is not going away. So cancer research anytime soon, as much as we wanted to. The V Foundation is very critical relative to raising money. And I should mention that when we started this back in 2010, when we made formed the agreement, the partnership, a friend of yours, Molly Riley, was very helpful in helping us put that together. So I credit her with a lot of the legwork to identify the V Foundation.
I remember now that she was tight and with the V Foundation, and remember when I guess it's been 11 years
Yes.
Since you guys hooked up, and I need to replace my little V lapel pin. I've lost mine since I last.
You see it there?
There it is. Excuse Excuse me. I'll have to get one when they're your next meeting. So
We
Nice.
have plenty of them, Harry. We have plenty.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. Well, it is a great cause. I mean, like you said, there is nobody on the earth that hasn't been affected in some way by cancer. That somebody, family member. I mean, it's so pervasive, and there's no better cause, really. I think, and when you started, did you ever think you'd raise $20 million? I mean, it's kind of a big deal. We're patting ourselves on the back. We raised what, like over 100 grand for a cause, and we're just like
That's
jumping
great. No,
through
we need to
hoops.
keep up with that. That's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to stay the course. I will tell you, the first year we did it, when we did the agreement in 2010, so 2011 was our first program, and what we did with with our programming is we tied the theme around our Corona message, so we had Find a Beach, as our marketing theme campaign. Find a Cure is what we use for raising funds for cancer research. And the very first year would have been March 2011. We raised much less than $100,000, and we had expectations to do much more than that. And we thought probably the V Foundation is going to be concerned that maybe this partnership isn't quite what we thought it was on both sides. But they were super. They stuck with us. They wanted to make sure everything was, we were happy with it, and the programming was good. And we said, as long as you're on board, we are sticking with it. So we went from that less than 100,000 to, this year will be over $1.4 million, just 1.4 million just for that March program. So, and then, as we said earlier, over $20 million to support in the 11 years. So, it was a great lesson in stay the course.
Yeah.
Programs start small, and then they just build and build and build and gains momentum. And as you said, Harry, it's very emotional. Everyone's been affected and touched by cancer. So unfortunately, it is an easy story to tell and to get the message out there. And there's 17 million people walking on around the United States today because of cancer research. So we're very proud of our association.
So is this something the end consumer can get involved in then?
Yes. I mean, our program, we have, when we set it up at retail, we have QR codes, and like I said, different distributors will do different things. We're not tied to a certain execution. It could be different in Seattle, Washington than it is in Tampa, Florida. And because of the awareness, we're able to build over the course of the year. Consumers can really get involved throughout the course of the year, not only with our program, but other partnerships. ESPN is a big partner with the V Foundation now. WWE is now a partner. So, they're continuing to evolve and grow and expand partnerships.
Well, that's fantastic. And like Harry said, we've been looking at more charitable causes ourselves. So maybe we'll ask you for some advice.
Glad to help.
Good. I have one more question, and then I'll let Harry take it off the rails. And it's a little bit of a divergence. Obviously, we can talk more about V. That's amazing. But I want to go back to what Harry was just talking about, how long you've been at Constellation. So more than 30 years, right?
Yes.
And that feels about as long as I've worked for Harry, but it's way more. And so just what sort of changes have you seen in the industry over that time, both, from an industry perspective and maybe even the culture at Constellation?
Well, I guess from an industry standpoint, just in general, from the day I started at would have been Barton Beers at the time, right. Just going to today to having a computer and an iPhone, it's a big change. But technology has moved so quickly and so fast, and it's going to move faster as we go forward. Mm-hmm. That has certainly been different. When I started, our business was just with the Modelo brands was half the country, much smaller. We were like the Kraft of the beer industry at that time. So over time, obviously the reordering of brands where we are, from that day and to where we are today, where Corona Extra and Modelo Special sits in the marketplace, competition, consolidation. I think I've had the opportunity to see all that, and Harry, you guys write about it in your publications, and I've been on the ground to, in many instances firsthand to see it all transpire. So,
Right.
and with all those changes, I would say that, the only thing that is constant is change, but it's still a great industry. And I love getting up every day, going to work
That's awesome.
in the beer industry.
So I agree. People complain. They're like, it's not as great as it used to be. I'm like, yeah, but it's still the best industry by far, And one of the things that you just said kind of struck me, that the rearranging of brands, because it's true. When we, when I started in the business, which was after you, Corona was growing like crazy, but still a very, very small franchise in most distributors' books. And it's been kind of fun to see how those brands have gone from the tail to the dog. And and you've kind of seen firsthand how Constellation has been in the shadow of Molson Coors and Anheuser-Busch and even Heineken at one point, and then to now, you guys are number one. I mean, if not in if not in cases, it definitely in gross profits, and for most distributors that have you. And so you go from this kind of small, sleepy supplier to the number one supplier in the country. Are you swinging a big bat these days, Jim? Do you have a little swagger when you go into these meetings with other folks like in DC and stuff?
I would say no. I would say it's just like we talked earlier about the V Foundation, starting small, and you just keep your head down, you keep working hard, building your business, be humble, and you take nothing for granted. And I think that's been the Constellation way, and it's certainly been I think we have a a great reputation with our stakeholders, with distributors. We're known as a good competitor, and that's certainly the way we want to operate day in, day out.
I always have one more question. How involved are the Sandses still? Are they pretty hands-on, or have they kind of backed off a bit since Bill took the reins?
You know what? Because that's obviously not in my wheelhouse. I mean, they're certainly involved from a leadership. All I could say is from a leadership standpoint. For me, as being with an employee of the company, I know they're there. So I think they're certainly close to the business and know what goes on day in and day out.
Jenn, you take a note. Just because I'm not right in front of you doesn't mean I'm not working. Okay.
Oh yeah, Harry. Nobody knows that better than I do. Working on something. Asterisk. He's working on something.
Just because Jim's sitting in front of a beach doesn't mean he's not
right,
working.
Right. Yeah, it's exactly right.
What are your plans this weekend? Is this Chicago? Are you still in Chicago or?
Yes. Yes.
So it's opening up a little bit. Are you gonna go down to the to Navy Pier, or are you gonna stay put?
Well, I've had a big week. I'm a Wisconsin guy, so we have and I know you're used to it from the San Antonio Spurs, but we got our first NBA championship here earlier in the week with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Congratulations!
And not to date myself, but everybody knows I've been around a long time. I was there when they won it 50 years ago, so. Been a big change, but it's opening up. Business is getting back to more normal. Retailers, but for me, I have grandchildren that I'm with this weekend, so looking forward to it.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, I don't know what I just did. I think can y'all see me?
You're good. You may be distracted by the plane landing in my backyard, but you're good.
That's all right, Jenn. That's all right. We would expect nothing less.
Of course. There was chainsaws in my backyard at 11 p.m. last night. But anyway, I digress.
Jim, as you know, nothing but the highest professionalism for those at Beer Business Daily, as you've come to expect over the last 20 years.
Every day I wake up, I know that.
That's right. Well, look, thank you so much for taking time out of your Friday and being with us. The V Foundation, where can folks go to get more information?
I think, if they go to the V Foundation, it's jimmyv.org, they can get information on that. And that's
it also is a great
distributors, anyone. So
it's a great video too. I've seen. I'm sure they have it on the website of the original V. The Jimmy V, the basketball coach and player who has a real inspirational video up there that's really good. So, all right. Well, thanks, Jim. Have a good weekend, and I hope to see you probably at the next event. Maybe MBWA will have a nice cold Corona beer. How does that sound?
Right.
That sounds great. Great.
All right, man. Have a good weekend.
Thank you all.
Thank you for drinking beer. Take care.
Thank you. Cheers.